Alright, with our table set, let's take a look-see at a production job I've already set up and show off some of our new features. If I search for the job number of my production job, existing Realtrac users will immediately notice something different. Searching for a specific job number, I'm seeing two results returned with the same job number. Our build number column indicates to me that I've got two production runs for this part planned. Scrolling to the right, I see that each of these production runs have their own due dates, on-time value, quantity to manufacture, and the like. I can double-click on either one of my results to load up the same job within my job order entry interface. Existing users will also notice a few other changes to our main job order entry form. Since each production run dictates the number of units to manufacture, the main form's quantity to manufacture field is read-only. In addition, we cannot set a manufacturing due date for the job, since that is determined on a run-by-run basis. Let's click over to the Router tab. Within the Router interface, each production run gets its own router. The router can be the same for each run, or it can vary depending on the needs of the shop and the part being produced. If we take a moment to look at this router, we'll see in our initial run, where we're producing our first 100 units, we have router operations 10 and 20, which are telling our folks that we need to buy the raw materials to build our part, and we also need to build a fixture to help with the production of the goods. If we take a look at our second run, where we're making an additional 400 units, we can see that these router operations have been removed, since we will already have the raw material in-house and our fixture will already be built during the initial production run. Users can also adjust the estimated times between each production run. If we find out after our initial run that we need a longer cycle time in our saw operation, we can adjust the time here in our second production run without impacting our original estimate. Similarly, if we are expected the setup run on the subsequent operations to be shorter due to our institutional knowledge from the initial run, we can adjust and measure those accordingly. In a little bit, we'll see how the multiple production schedules impact the shop floor client, but for now, let's explore some other features within the job group of our full client. Within the Ship Schedule tab, we now have both our ship schedule as well as the production schedule. It's important to note that these are two completely independent functions. Your shipping and invoicing folks can set the dates that are expected for delivery, and your manufacturing folks can use the production schedule tab to manage when the productions of parts will start and be completed. Take a look at our ship schedule, where we have set 4 shipments to our customer currently scheduled. They're shipping at various times with various quantities and are associated with various customer POs. If we flip over to the production schedule, as we saw in our router, our production manager has decided to break our order of 500 total units into 2 production runs. Our first run has 100 units, and then we have a subsequent run of 400 units. Each production run can be set up with its own set of serial numbers, and when parts are finished on the job, each production run can have its own inventory location and lot details set. Each part finished on my initial run will be shelved in Shelf A, while all the parts finished on my second run are going to be shelved in Shelf B. Let's take a look at our schedules for the production runs. When we click over to the Job Schedule tab, we again see the same run-by-run breakdown that we saw in the router interface. We see the current schedule for our first run, and when we click over to the Run Number 2 tab, we can see when each of its router operations are also set to run. Lastly, we've also updated the job queue status to work with the production jobs. As we can see, each of the routers for each run can have their own individual statuses. In most ways, it's like running 2 independent jobs in Realtrac, but with the convenience of all the information being stored within the context of a single job. When users wish to run a router report, they now have the option of selecting which production run they want to run the router report for. As we can see, reports have been updated to include information on which production run the report is in reference to.